Around 1989, I packed up my family, including my wife and 2 boys, and whatever we could fit into a Toyota Corolla, and drove across the country so I could go to business school in New York. I thought it would be a ticket to a job with corporate America. A year later, I was halfway through the program when I realized it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I packed up my family into the Corolla again, and we drove back across the country. A short while after returning to California, I made the decision to come to Kodiak because I felt like I could make a difference. I liked construction, and I felt like roofing was an important trade, and I shared Dwayne's values: to treat customers and employees the way we would want to be treated, to be the best at what we did, and to always see the future with an optimism that fueled a vision for growth and opportunity. That was the best decision I ever made. And 30 years later, these things are still true. Number 1, at Kodiak, everyone's accomplishments matter. 2, roofing is important work. Every building has a purpose, whether that's to provide a place for people to get health care, or children to learn, or people to accomplish whatever is important to them. And without the protection of a good roof, that building can't serve its purpose. And 3, we still look to the future with optimism and growth and opportunity. A lot has happened in 30 years. Together, we have installed roofs on over 7,000 buildings, totaling 200 million square feet. I love driving through an unfamiliar place and suddenly coming upon a building that I recognize as one of ours, one covered by a Kodiak roof. But throughout my years at Kodiak, my greatest satisfaction comes when I hear other employees say that Kodiak is one of the best places they've ever worked, because I have felt the same way. When a company is filled with employees who share that feeling, who are driven by a shared set of core values, work becomes meaningful and fun, and everyone tries to do their best. And that is how a company like Kodiak thrives for more than 30 years.
Our core focus as a company is adding extraordinary value to buildings and lives. We make the spaces where people work, create, play, shop, seek wellness, and learn safe and dry. This allows people who use these offices, warehouses, gyms, churches, hospitals, stores, schools, and more to build lives, have families, and grow and seek fulfillment. As we serve our customers in this way, we build our own lives and become whom we want to be, the best versions of ourselves. We are a group of people who share a set of core values. Our shared core values are not just words, but principles that drive our decisions, behaviors, and actions. Our core values are written as mandates to be true to who we are. Here is our list. Our first core value is to be engaged. This means we strive to be all in, work with a purpose, be committed, work hard, and be connected to the Kodiak vision.
Rene Zaragoza has been with Kodiak since nearly the beginning. Here he shares a story that takes place early in our history on a job in Carson City. It shows the extraordinary lengths a group of engaged and committed employees went through to overcome a big challenge we did to make sure we did right by our customer.
Being engaged is important, and it's important not only for the company, it should be important for everybody that works for the company. We had a crew over there with Papa Deep, and because it was a system that it was glued with hot asphalt, and so the guys did too much tear off, and then they lay out too much membrane, and it was during the summer, and there was no chances of rain on the forecast. But we had this storm that just came in and just get us with our pants down, and a lot of water coming through inside the building. So Dwayne called me about 6 o'clock and he says, hey, we got a bad situation over in Carson City. Can you guys go out there, see how many guys you can get? So I called a few guys. We rushed out there over the mountains and got there, and yeah, there was a lot of water coming through the building. We got there and started putting plastic inside to cover the computer's desk and minimize the damage inside the building. Water was still coming in because it stopped raining, but all the water that went inside underneath the insulation, so it was still going down to the drains. And so it took us days with humidifiers drying inside the building and getting all the humidity out of the building. That was a big task to do, also a big emergency. It reminds me that we need, as committed to the company, we need to be prepared for when we need to be there. We need to be engaged. We always need to be engaged. Not just the workers that are in the field, the project managers and us that are superintendents, we need to be always ready to be engaged with the guys.
When Renee and his crew all rose to meet a challenge in front of them, they changed the outcome. When we choose to be engaged in our work, we can make a difference.
Our second core value is to be helpful. This means to help first, bring positive energy, make others around you better, and to be the spark.
Rich Palmer and Matt Ludlow share two experiences that show how Kodiak employees live in our core value of being helpful. You'll see how that extends to our fellow coworkers, our customers, and our communities.
Failing to do that in the night that we did, we probably prevented that place from shutting down and being able to make its commitments to families at Christmas time. Amazon is amazingly able to deliver many items the same day you order them. Soon after completing our first Amazon Fulfillment Center warehouse in Tracy, during a heavy rainstorm, we received an urgent call around 3 p.m. on a Friday. We had fought hard to be able to finally get an Amazon project, and we were getting a frantic call for help from the property manager about a big leak. We decided to head down. We know we're going to be up against night conditions by the time of year it is. We get down there, there's 4 of us. We try to get through security. We can't get through security. Ends up taking us 3, 4, 5 hours to even get through security to get into the building. By that time, it's probably 7 o'clock at night, maybe later. It gets to the point where we don't even know if we're gonna be able to get in there. So we cut the other 2 guys loose. We're like, you guys go home, it's getting late. And they finally get us up on the roof. We get up there, it's really windy, it's really rainy. I mean, water's going sideways. We find a ton of HVAC equipment that had been put on the roof that was never tied down. It's blowing across the roof. It's creating holes, punctures, damage to the roof. So Dennis and I were able to stop that, and then we temped the holes. We got the leaks to stop. And one thing that I really liked about being with Dennis, and anybody that knows him will know this, not once did that man ever complain about being cold or tired. It's late, I want to go home. It was just both of us were focused. We're getting this taken care of, and then we'll get it behind us. It was probably, I'd say, 11 at night by the time we got out of there, maybe closer to midnight. And one of the parts I remember the most is Dennis and I leaving, and you know that time when you guys get back in the truck after you're cold and you're wet, and anybody that's experienced this is, you can start feeling that heat coming back into your body, like back into your fingers, back into your ears, back into your lips. It was the Kodiak spirit that got us through it. Dennis we lost Dennis to cancer, so I know how we all feel about cancer. I learned a lot from Dennis, I respected him. That was Dennis. He was gonna go up there and get the job done, and he wasn't gonna quit. Those of us that knew him know that. Good guy.
One of the really amazing things about working at Kodiak is the opportunities that we have to reach out and help the community around us. Every year, each employee is given 2 full days in which they can volunteer their time and their efforts to a worthy cause, where we can go out and we can do charity work. In the past, we've had some amazing opportunities. We've partnered with Make-A-Wish Foundation. We've assisted over at the Placer Food Bank, which is just right around the corner from us. And this year we had a really unique and amazing opportunity to reach out and help someone in our community that was really suffering. Take a look at the amazing effort that our team put together to change this woman's life and repair her roof.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming. We have a really unique opportunity right now to give back to our community. I think most of you have heard a little bit about this, but the owner of this home, she's been living here for quite some time, has been dealing with some very serious medical conditions, and the home has fallen into a state of just massive disrepair. We have an opportunity at this point to join in with a bunch of other contractors from the community to help her get back up on her feet and get this house back to the point where it's providing some real shelter for her. The game plan for today, we're going to be tearing off the roof, tearing off the fascia, and starting to do some of the remediation. Those of us getting up on the roof, they'll be up there. They're going to start tearing off and throwing down the debris. Once they've completed with a section, we'll have the ground crew come in with wheelbarrows, make sure you're wearing gloves. We're going to pick up that debris and put it into the dump trailer.
When you have a health crisis, the last thing you want to think about is maintenance.
We're always looking for opportunities to give back to the community.
You know, having the opportunity to come back and share what we have, our skill set, to be able to help someone out who's really in need.
That's when we gather the troops, and there's been a lot of enthusiasm for everybody to jump in and help out with that.
Once the shingles were removed, we were able to restore and renew any damaged or moldy regions of the roof structure. New shingling was installed over the structure to bring the space back to a livable and safe condition. Kodiak, one team, one goal, home safe.
It was pretty interesting to see. I think a lot of the administrative staff, after a couple of days of hard labor, were feeling some of that pain. And I think it gave us an improved understanding of the hard work that our men do. But the opportunity to just reach out and to help and to provide a service to someone who was so in need was a really unique opportunity for all of us that were involved to feel like we were giving back and that we were sharing our skills in a meaningful way to change the life of someone that was really just so desperate they had no other way to get back up on their feet.
There's no better way to find a purpose in what we do other than to help those around us.
Our third core value is be humble. This means we are teachable, grateful, we listen first, and we are respectful.
As Dwayne stated, being humble also means being teachable. Here, Mike Nash shares a story about how accepting difficult customer feedback with humility, learning from our mistakes, and resolving to do better resulted in a satisfied long-term client.
It's important that our clients know that we care about our relationship and that we're going to do everything we can to take care of them. And so it's important that we approach that with humility and with that attitude. So a couple years ago, we were doing a re-roof project for a new customer that we had. We got an email stating that there were some issues and that she wanted to talk with us. And in her email, she stated that she was going to need some assurances from us that we would be able to deliver and supply a weather-tight roof and to be able to accomplish the deadlines that we had set for ourselves. She was clear on her expectations for us, what she wanted from us. And we had committed to have it done in a certain amount of time, and we were falling down. After she gave me a laundry list of things that we were falling down on, she stated that she needed us to give her a call and be able to confirm and assure her that we would be able to finish off strongly on the roof. It's not always easy to be able to hear when you're falling down and doing stuff wrong. When you hear these things, you can go in a couple different directions, but we found it best to approach it in a way that when you come without any attitude about it, and you know, you're right, we should have communicated better. We should have asked before we cut these items. We should have
let you know that we weren't going to be able to finish on time, or we weren't going to be able to get to this certain point in the roof on time. And all I can say is that we're going to do better, and I'll make sure that my team's more responsive. Not too long ago, actually in the last couple of weeks, she emailed me and we talked about our relationship, and she said that the reason that she continues to go with us is because of the good communication that we had, and that we're always straight up with her on how things are. There's some times where our foremen, if they've messed up and didn't secure the roof at night when it's supposed to rain the next day, and we have water intrusions and they get very defensive, and I wasn't told to, or I should have done this. We all make mistakes and we all make decisions that don't always work out right, but it's important that we come forward with an attitude that you're right, I should have done it this way and I'll do better next time, and have an attitude that we're not trying to pick on you, we're just trying to make the company better and more successful, which will help you be more successful in your career as well. Thinking of that, I think that someone that I know just recently said they need to be teachable and learn from their mistakes and be respectful, and that can really go a long ways in this business and in life.
Humility really is the gateway to all improvement.
Our fourth core value is be resourceful. This means to seek solutions, achieve the best outcome in the simplest way, leave it better than you found it. And this means to think outside the box.
Being resourceful can be the most important tool in our toolbox. So often we put our heads down, go to work, and never think to ask, is there a better way? Roland D'Agostini talks about a routine process on the roof that he approached with awareness and the desire to make better. His solution is an example of resourcefulness in action and how it can have a big impact on our success.
Being resourceful is very important. It's being innovative and being open-minded and coming up with solutions to problems. I do metal work, and occasionally I have to use a roto hammer. I got called off my regular job to go help some single ply guys, and the task that I was given was install these anchors. And he hands me like a pallet, and I'm like, wow, how many do you want me to do? It was like all the way around the perimeter. It was an Amazon building. They're 1/4 mile long and like 600 feet wide. It was about 2 weeks worth of work. So I would drill the hole with the roto hammer, and then you take the concrete anchor and you put it in there. If you hit the nail in prior to seating the first half of the anchor, then it won't go in all the way. When the nail goes in, it spreads it out on the backside, and now it becomes too big to go in the hole. If you put it in and then hit it off center, then the nail bends over. Well, now it's seated in the concrete with a bent over nail, and now it's a real pain to pry it out. It happens all the time. So yeah, I just thought there's gotta be a better way to do this. I went back and started thinking about it and drawing what it would have to look like or what it would have to do. With the tool that I have, you put the concrete anchor in the bottom half, and then just with the pressure of the roto hammer, you just push it and it seats the first half. You don't have to use the edge of your hammer and try and tap it in first. The guy I was working with, he's the first one that ever used it, and the very first nail he put in, it was just like, oh my gosh, it's so perfect. Let's say it takes 10, 15 seconds to do each one. This does it in like 3 seconds. The thing for Kodiak, it's gonna save them a lot of hours, and make it so the employees wanna do the job. My resourcefulness will impact Kodiak when the tool becomes in use, for sure.
Be resourceful by making a habit in your daily work to always ask, like Roland did, is there a better way?
And our fifth core value is be accountable. This means we take responsibility, be the one they count on, winning and losing together, and do what you say.
We've all heard the expression, am I my brother's keeper? In this story about a concern for a non-Kodiak employee, Alejandro Arriaga, a Nevada foreman, relates to how being accountable not only drives our behavior, but in some cases it can help save lives.
My name's Alejandro, and I'm a foreman at Kodiak Roofing. I was at the gondola job at the Palisade Ski Resort, and this was the safety incident happening.
While running the gondola project at Alpine Meadows, during a break, Alejandro was on the ground and looked up to the roof and noticed the carpenter and his helper who were cutting pieces of siding as he stood near the edge of the roof. They weren't tied off. The roof edge was approximately 40 feet from the concrete slab below, so fall would have been catastrophic. Alejandro, recognizing the danger, quickly returned to the roof and spoke to the carpenter.
I went up there and offered my equipment. I had ropes, I had extra harnesses, and I just asked him what he needed.
He reminded him of the danger he was putting himself and his helper in by working on the edge without being tied off.
I know that one fall he would not walk back to his family the way he came out that morning.
The way I found out about the story was that I was at church and a guy came up to me. He told me what an impact this individual foreman made on him because of the way he was concerned about other people's safety. He just told me that that doesn't happen very often in the construction industry, and he was very grateful for Alejandro's help on it. This is really what we want here at Kodiak. It's one of our core values, being accountable, but safety is a very important part of our business. We're high risk.
What really caught me is that you have the time to avoid an accident if you just get up and go address it at that moment, instead of just watching it happen. I felt accountable because this person was up on our roof, even though he wasn't in our company. He was with another company, and I found accountable because he was in our roof. He could have fell off, and I was there. I was able to help him out.
Alejandro is a wonderful example of somebody who follows our motto, which is one team, one goal, home safe. It's not only the Kodiak team, but the entire construction team that may be on any site that we're working on. In fact, I know of a supplier. He was loading one of our roofs down in Fresno. He got up on the roof and saw a metal decking contractor cutting some openings in the deck, and he knew it was dangerous. He didn't say anything. He left the job site. Half hour later, the guy fell through the roof, ended up dying. And that had a huge impact on him, but he always regretted not saying something. So when you have somebody like Alejandro that isn't afraid to say something and is concerned about other people, it really improves our industry when we have people like that in construction. I'm really grateful for Alejandro.
Being accountable in our role is all or nothing. As Alejandro showed us in his story, there's no such thing as being halfway safe. Being fully accountable for safety compels us to not only be safe ourselves, but to look out for the well-being of others.
Thank you for being part of the Kodiak team.
In 3 weeks, we'll have another presentation to share our vision of growth for the next 5 years.
In this presentation, you'll see how our vision is shaped by Kodiak's core values and what opportunities it can bring to you as an individual.
We look forward to sharing our vision with you, and we'll see you again soon.